like waffles? Yeah, we like waffles. Do you like pancakes? Yeah, we like.
I ain't got no iPhone. My heart is breaking. Thinking this is the best burrito I've ever eaten.
This is the best song ever made.
For those who participated, the answer was a couple of months. There's this app, I'm not sure if you heard of it. It's called TikTok. Filled with hundreds of millions of short-form videos being posted in a single day, towering over its predecessor Vine, TikTok has revolutionized the social media landscape as we know it, even making Google and Facebook want a piece of that action with YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. With a wide range of content to choose from dances to music to skits to whatever this is,
He was running from a cop.
the world needs to see this. Is this even real? Every time I watch it, it feels more like a fever dream. TikTok is a platform that keeps its users swiping and clamoring to become the next big thing, while the app itself continues to grow to even grander heights. So yeah, a pretty cult-sized following to say the least. Now let's take a trip across platforms. One that you might have heard of. I don't know why I suspect that though. But either way it goes, we're going to take a look at a very specific section of YouTube.
Take me home.
This is Jaden Animations.
You got the wrong number.
This is The Odd Ones Out.
These guys surrounded me and they gave me 999 eggs.
And this is Rubber Ross. These three YouTubers are the most popular in their genre. At least that's what Google says when I looked it up. And that genre is animation. Something that has thrived on YouTube for years. You can always find a good animator that makes story times about their life experiences, challenges themselves, and Pokemon. No need to elaborate. This platform and this medium are vastly different in many ways, requiring its creators to approach their content differently for their own form of success in their respective fields. Other than reposts of their videos from YouTube to TikTok, creators of YouTube have more time to stretch out their videos and give them a story-like feel, while engaging with their audience. While their platform counterpart in TikTok is fast-paced, short-form content, meant to keep hold of the public's ever-lowering attention span. Both have stamped their marks on online culture, becoming the bar that other platforms and niches need to cross to be on par or exceed the level of influence that they have gained and continue to garner. What if I told you there was a platform that came before TikTok and even before some of the biggest creators of the YouTube animation scene came to be? A platform that perfectly encapsulates these two topics combined into one single entity. Well, that platform existed, and it went by the name of Flipnote Studio. Flipnote Studio was a short-form animation app developed by Nintendo. Originally named Moving Notepad in Japan, it gave the user of the app the ability to create frame-by-frame animations. It was revealed officially in 2009 at E3 of all places, where Nintendo gave it the name we all know it by today. To, what I've seen from comments back then, positive reception, saying how excited they are about the new release and how it's why they bought the DSi in the first place. The flipbook aesthetic wasn't the only selling point though, because Nintendo announced they were partnering with Hatena, a Japanese internet service company, to give its users the ability to create and share their work for everyone to see, as well as giving others the ability to download Flipnotes and make spin-offs by editing those downloaded Flipnotes. Cause why create art like this and not show it off to everybody who has eyeballs? And Flipnote Studio, obviously. Flipnote Studio and Hatena had outstanding reactions from fans of Nintendo and gaming articles alike, even helping give IGN an example of them beating the 7 out of 10 allegations, giving them a crispy 9 out of 10, a 93 out of 100 on Metacritic, a 95% on the official Nintendo magazine, and over 1 million user-created Flipnotes being shared on Hatena in the first 6 months of operation. And that's all just for the DSi and DSi XL. That's an insane amount of engagement. And need I remind you, this is before TikTok, before Instagram, and just when Twitter started getting popular. Social media as we know it now wasn't nearly as important or packed, and it still managed to get such a huge turnout. Nintendo also made sure to give its users plenty of things to do along the way, giving them base animations that they were allowed to go crazy with. And crazy they have gone, with hundreds of renditions of red singlet guy kicking black pants dude and cat falling off a skateboard. Look, they're base animations for a reason. It's not like Nintendo's gonna drop Studio Ghibli level animations for free. But they'll definitely school their users on how they can make animations look their best. With straight lines and the ability to make things look like they're disappearing, anyone could make Flipnotes that surpass the likes of Ghibli with ease. Fuck you, Hayao Miyazaki. Spirited Away was mid anyways. Other than content being given to users of the app to play around with, Flipnote Studio also had events where the most creative of Flipnote creators can show off their animation prowess, creating Flipnote contests in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Mario and Zelda franchises, which were judged by Eiji Aonuma, a producer for The Legend of Zelda, and Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario, Zelda, and many other very popular names in Nintendo, giving the winners, at least of the Zelda Flipnotes, an opportunity to be represented on the official Nintendo YouTube channel, as you can see here. Flipnotes were on a meteoric rise that social media platforms at the time didn't see often, and there was so much more room to grow for them. These little moving pictures caught the eyes of many, including a small boy looking for something to do on his DSi when he was 5 or 6. But that boy's irrelevant. Let's talk about me, the much older, wiser, and all-around better version. Sorry, little dude. Flipnotes are on the same level as Vine, YouTube, and TikTok were and are for me. There are so many different Flipnotes that I have constantly rattling through my head and spew quotes from on a daily basis, songs I've sung, and actions I've recreated because I'm an idiot. So it came to mind, what would a nostalgic video be without a little reminiscing of the past firsthand? So I scrounged around my house and found this old DSi. This isn't mine broke years ago, but what is mine is the SD card inside it. With this card, I was able to pull every single Flipnote I've ever saved in my time of using this app, over 500 to be more specific. And who would I be if I didn't watch every single one of them so I can see if they hold up to today's standards? I'd be the same person, maybe even better off, but I did it anyway for the sake of entertainment. And how hard can it be to hold up to today's standards when this can make people laugh? So to start off this reminiscing journey, it is important to say that out of the 500 plus Flipnotes I've watched, I personally believe 211 of them can hold up to today's standards, with the few select videos being chosen to prove points I felt I'd make throughout this section of the video. That's an impressive amount of content that this generation of viewers can enjoy. Take into account that these are all from my save folder of Flipnotes when I was a kid, and the fact that these examples of Flipnotes were made over a decade ago. I don't know what's harder to believe, the fact that all of this was made a decade ago, or that my humor hasn't changed at all in that time span. With nearly half of the content I've saved being well made to the point I believe it could blend in almost perfectly with today's type of content, I have a lot to work with to truly understand the atmosphere Flipnote Studio brought to the online world. From little songs to animations with audio from sitcoms, comedy specials, and Family Guy. Where have I seen that before? From music videos to stick fight scenes to funny creative bits, the community these little moving pictures have brought in gave us animations that live in my head rent-free. In the short span of time this platform had, there has been plenty of time for its user base to make some of the best things I've seen from hobbyist animators, and some of the weirdest, and even questionable ones.
Oh, looks like the black one just died, ha ha ha.
Okay, that's gotta be racist. With the sheer abundance of videos you could find scrolling through Flipnote Hatena, there was no telling what you could come across. And that's where I see a whole lot of fun in this app. Even though all of these videos were saved by me, I still had no idea what I'd see. Apart from the very popular ones I quote frequently, there were plenty of pleasant surprises that made looking back at these videos a very happy and fun time to experience once again.
Chicken wing, hot dog and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with my homies. Chicken wing,
Why does this loop so well? It's almost hypnotic how catchy it is. They've brought me laughs, made me cringe, and had my jaw drop as if I was watching it for the first time. Just as content today has done for me. You could just see the passion creators on this platform had for their work. With plenty of expressive looks, styles, and movement. They even had funny in-jokes around the community, like Ouija, a version of Luigi from a DOS game called Mario is Missing, which has him look like complete nightmare fuel, which was used to the fullest, with multiple horror-themed Flipnotes being created with him being the face of it. Hell, they even managed to make child show icon Elmo into something scary. I swear, my mom told me when I was young that I loved Sesame Street, but I always find that hard to believe, cause younger me was having nightmares of Elmo finding where I live and killing me. Those Flipnotes fucked me up. There's also no way that this wasn't one of the many birthing areas of furries. I'm surprised I haven't been converted by the abundance of animal OCs and Sonic Flipnotes I've come across. Look, I love Amy as much as the next person, but I don't need to see her loving up on Sonic every time I scroll through my feed. And come on, don't you think this animal OC Flipnote is a bit much? The animation may be good, but this shit got so much edge it gave me a 3-inch gash on my cheek just watching it. Of course, other than the slight edginess you may have found around the app, there were plenty of problems with the platform, just like every other platform has. One major problem I've seen was with spin-offs. Though I think spin-offs were a cool concept and there have been many of good to come out of it, the ability to make spin-offs gave people the opportunity to take other people's work, make minimal changes, and repost it with no credit to the original creator. Where have I seen that before? I've also seen, not in person but through recountings, that there has been a problem with adult-oriented Flipnotes slipping past moderation. Where have I seen that before? Okay, I'll stop with that, but you do get my point, right? Before I finish my small walk down memory lane, I want to give an animation some spotlight, because anyone who hasn't seen it really has to. With different background music, because copyright. How the hell was that made using a DSi? Wherever they are, if the person who made this isn't an animator professionally, then that is a big miss for the industry. If they can make this with that kind of hardware, imagine what they can do with Adobe Animate. It's amazing how fluid the movements are. It stands out perfectly from the rest of the stick figure fight animations, let alone the entirety of Flipnotes in general.
Oi, oi, oi! It is an acid puddle! Zooey mama!
Remember Diary of a Wimpy Kid? The latest book was made in late 2022. Wow. If you're well versed on the topic of Flipnotes, you would have noticed, other than in the intro of the video, there's been a creator that hasn't been shown throughout these sections. That was done for a reason, because I felt it was appropriate to give this creator a complete section of their own, due to their overall influence on Flipnote Studio and animation beyond the platform. Gizmo is a creator of one of the most recognized Flipnotes of all time. That being the Three Boos singing Perry Grip's song, Do You Like Waffles? This video may have been a gem, but he wasn't even close to finish when it came to making absolute bangers. He's made many different Flipnotes with his own style of animation and comedy.
It's been codenamed the super awesome mega expensive virtual reality console that everyone will buy because it's made by Nintendo, even though it will probably be a huge technical failure.
It's crazy how I downloaded this in 2011 and it still holds up today. Totally based. With the over-exaggerated actions of characters from faces to movements and prominent breathy words into the DSi's crappy mic, this guy grew his way into becoming one of the top creators on Flipnote Hatena, actually becoming the #1 ranked creator in America at a certain point. He has always been one of my favorite creators on the platform, and that same consensus can be said for many other people, even in the animating world, with very popular YouTube animator Something Else YT publicly stating that he was a great influence for his work today, which is insane since Gizmo was 12 years old when he made a lot of his content. He's a creator that made his mark on Flipnote Studio, and he will be remembered because of that fact alone. But if you were wondering where he is today, he's a video game and film critic that's active on Twitter. He also has a podcast called Watching the End of the World on Spotify, so you can go listen when you have the time. Thank you, Gizmo, not only for entertaining me in my younger years, but also for being one of the driving forces behind Flipnote Hatena's golden age. Then it died. Oh no, who let this happen? How could this ever have been prevented? Shut up, you scoundrel! Oh wait, I need that. Flipnote Studio 3D then arrived. If you're someone like me, you'd be saying, wait, there was a Flipnote Studio 3D? Why haven't I heard of it? And the answer to that is Nintendo. With a completely lackluster campaign for this app, and by that I mean very minimal to the point that someone who was looking forward to it for years didn't even know it came out until he started writing a script for a certain video you may or may not be watching right now. That someone is me. Hi. Imagine my shock when it came to my attention that a whole ass app that again I was looking forward to getting came out and has been active for years on a device I still own. I had to do some digging, because this could not be all my fault that I never heard about this until now. And what I found completely shocked me. The only video by an official Nintendo YouTube channel was a mini Nintendo Direct all centered around Flipnote Studio 3D, only posted by Nintendo UK. The late president and chief executive officer of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, talked about the new app which was promised to come out summer of that year, which was 2013. And it turned out that it did actually come out in 2013. Only for Japan. But we'll get into that later. The Direct showcased the app, showing its new features, giving the users new colors to work with other than the blue, red, and black of its predecessor. They also made it easier for creators to export their creations to media sharing apps, allowing them to export Flipnotes as AVI files without going through the hassle that I had to go through to get Flipnotes from Hatena. Why the fuck do I even do this shit? And the main feature that had people hyped for the new app, the 3D feature, allowing users to make Flipnotes with multiple layers to them. Now for the bad. This is Nintendo after all. It was decided by higher-ups of Nintendo that Hatena wasn't a good enough structure to go off of for the new app, so they made a new online service called Flipnote Gallery World, which would be, in the most Nintendo fashion I can think of, a monthly subscription-based service. But that's not all, because it was then announced that before the release of FGW, that's a cool way of saying Flipnote Gallery World, Flipnote Hatena would cease operation, sending all fans of the app into a frenzy, downloading every Flipnote they can before they can't, and saying goodbye to the platform that once welcomed them in open arms. Though this loss is hard, there's still light at the end of the tunnel. There will only be a couple of months before the new app comes out. Well, about that. It was already revealed that Flipnote Studio 3D wasn't going to come out at the same time for Europe and America as it would in Japan. That's usually a given since Nintendo is based in Japan. It was originally set to come out in August of 2013 for all other countries, but due to an unexpectedly high usage of the app in Japan alone, it was delayed and didn't come out until February 2015, nearly 2 years after its initial release in Japan. To make that an even bigger kick to the dick for fans of the app, it was released on Club Nintendo, a loyalty program that was set to close later that same year. And it didn't even have Flipnote Gallery World, limiting its users to local wireless sharing only. What a complete and utter flop of a highly anticipated release. Though there were many great things that were able to come from Studio 3D by the people that were able to access the app, like this full 34-minute animation that looks incredible, the complete isolation of its user base killed any momentum it could have had, and the horrible release in America and Europe was the death blow that completely killed Flipnote Studio 3D. Honestly, other than Nintendo themselves, I blame Britain. And that was the last thing we as Flipnote users ever got from Nintendo. Disappointment. Unless you're from Japan. It's insane to think about how hard Nintendo dropped the ball when it comes to this app. If they managed to salvage the release of Flipnote Studio 3D, or at the very least not killed off Flipnote Hatena for its users, I could have seen this app becoming something like Newgrounds, but solely animation. The fact that there was more traffic than expected for the app when it was initially released, more than the servers could take. In Japan alone, there was an obvious market for Flipnote Studio that Nintendo just missed. Like the high amount of viewers of YouTube animations, or the people that are clamoring for short-form content from TikTok. You see, it all comes full circle. I didn't just say this for an intriguing title for the video. I truly believe that, if honed correctly and actually shown care, Flipnote Studio could have been, or even could still be, a very large platform for animators. It could have been the TikTok of animation, the TikTok of Nintendo. Except the idea came before TikTok even existed. It's sad that Nintendo didn't see the potential in this app enough to keep it going, because even though Nintendo gets a lot of, albeit deserved, criticism for how they run things, they're usually ahead of the curve when it comes to stuff like this. An example of that, ironically, being the 3DS, coming out just as the 3D craze for technology was popping off. Flipnote Studio will always hold a place in my heart. It was a large source of entertainment for me and many other people, and Nintendo could never take that away from us. Even with the eShop being killed off now, and Nintendo updating 3DSs so they can't be modded. Man, Nintendo really hates their fans. Hey there, editing name here to say a few things I missed when I initially scripted this video. I know I already said I was an idiot, no need to tell me, but I wanted to tell you that although Nintendo hates its user base and has made it way more difficult to use, create, and share Flipnotes, just like most things involving Nintendo's users, they found their own way of going about it. So call this a randomly put together mini section because I'm going to talk about Sudomemo, the user's take on Flipnote Hatena. If you need your fix of Flipnotes but don't want to only look at older creations, or even if you do, Sudomemo was made for that exact purpose. With their very well made Flipnote archives to remember the Flipnotes that came before them, and the actual Sudomemo website where new creators can create, socialize, and grow community, this fan-made project was something that really touched my heart. The amount of passion and care put into this is extremely eye-opening and really shows the market that could have been tapped by Nintendo if shown even a fraction of this care. And that's why I feel it deserves a mention. Even looking off the website onto its YouTube channel, Sudomemo teaches its users how to draw certain characters, has creator contests just like early Hatena, and the coolest thing in my opinion, it does a Sudomemo rewind, where they look at some of the best Flipnotes of the year and interviews popular creators on the platform. That is awesome and deserves to be recognized for the hard work that was put in to make this project a reality. Platforms need to realize that its creators are what make the platform what they are, and they need to be at the center of every decision that the platform makes, or at least be recognized for their importance. So check them out if you want to become a part of that amazing community. And to the developers and creators of Sudomemo, keep up the great work. You guys are amazing. But that's it for me. If you liked the video, give it a like, follow my socials, and buy my merch. All that in the description. Also subscribe to my channel and join my Discord server so you can be notified when I upload, cause YouTube ain't very good with that. That's free, with no fees, and it helps out the channel very much. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. This is Gizmo's #1 fan, Name, signing out.